Hello my dear students and welcome back to Excellence Batch, and I am your Diksha ma'am. So here we have started the chapter Human Reproduction, and I hope you all are keeping it pretty well as well, right? So are you revising it? You have to tell me whether you revise the things properly or not, or you are just taking things very seriously or leniently, right? So in the previous class we have discussed the female reproductive system. In the female reproductive system, we have discussed the ovaries and duct system. But also I have told you there are total 4 basic parts of female reproductive system. The primary reproductive organ, ovaries. Then we have vulva, the external genitalia. We have accessory glands like we have the mammary glands, and then we have the duct system. So 2 parts we have already done, the duct system and the ovaries. It's time to start with the external genitalia and the mammary glands. But before that, let's solve some questions from the previous topic. Okay, let's see how much have you revised. Innermost layer of uterus. You have to tell me which is the innermost layer of uterus. Then birth canal is formed of. Birth canal, what it is made up of. Then site of fertilization, where the fertilization takes place, and the implantation. So there are 2 different sites. Okay, so I am giving you hint. Layer of uterus that helps in delivery of baby, and last cortical region of ovary contains dash. So you can take your time. And let's get started with the first one. Innermost layer of uterus. So there are 3 layers in the uterus. The innermost is endometrium that undergoes cyclical changes. The middle is myometrium that contains muscle, and the outermost is perimetrium, which is just like serosa of your gut. So it is asking innermost that undergoes cyclical changes also. I am telling you the function. So that's endometrium. Okay. Now birth canal is formed of. It is formed of cervix plus vagina. Whereas vagina alone is known as the copulatory canal. Then the site of fertilization. What is the site of fertilization? That's fallopian tube. The part of fallopian tube is ampulla, and site of implantation is uterus. So implantation, where the baby or the embryo fixes in the uterine wall, that's implantation. Fertilization, where ovum and egg both fuse. Layer of uterus that helps in delivery of baby, that is myometrium. Because myometrium is a layer that contains smooth muscle. So whenever the baby is ready to come out, these muscles, they contract and the baby moves out. Then cortical region of ovary contains, the cortex region or the cortical region contains ovarian follicles. And the medullary regions contain, guys, that contains blood vessels and nerves. Okay, so how many total questions are there? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. But this one is for 1 marks, this is for 1 marks, this is for 2 marks, this is for 1, this is for 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So tell me your score out of 6. You have to tell me in the comments what is your score and where have you committed the mistake. Okay. Anyways, let's get started with the female external genitalia, or also known as vulva and also known as pudendum. Okay guys, now just like in males we had external genitals, we had penis as the main external genital, and scrotum is also sometimes considered as external genital, but it contains testes inside, which is a primary reproductive organ. Okay. So, just like males have penis and as an external genital, females have vulva. Now, where is this vulva present? So, vulva is present in between the legs. So, for example, these are the legs of a female, like this. So, this is present right here in between the legs. The upper portion, which is a very fat like portion, because it contains fat tissue and a lot of hair This portion is known as mons pubis. What do you call it as? Mons pubis. So the uppermost region on the ventral side is mons pubis, and this mons pubis contains fat tissue. What does it contain? Fat tissue and hair. and here. Now down the mons pubis are present two pair of lips. That's why their name is labia. Whenever we use the word labia, that means lips. So first of all, we have a very fleshy fold of skin, very thick, fleshy, very thick and fleshy fold of skin known as labia majora. So you can see this is thick tissue, fleshy tissue, a flesh like it's a fold of skin which contains both fat and hair. That contains both fat and hair, and the name of this part is known as labia majora. So labia majora, it contains fat, it's a fleshy fold of skin, it's a fleshy fold of skin, and it also contains hair. It also contains hair, right? Inside of this is present another pair of lips. Another pair of lips which is little thinner. This is little thinner and it does not contain any fat and hair. Again another fleshy fold of skin, that is labia minora. Labia minora have no hair. It does not contain any hair. It does not contain any hair, right? Now inside of this, this labia minora, this entire area which is present here, this entire area, this is known as vestibule. What do you call it as? Vestibule. So for example, these are the labia minora. So what is area? Whatever area is present inside labia minora, you call it as vestibule. So this area is known as vestibule. Okay. Now, here two openings are present. Here two openings are present. One is the opening of urinary system. Another is the opening of reproductive system. You got my point? On the vestibule, vestibule is that particular area. For example, this is the vestibule area. We have two openings here. Okay, and here we have labia minora. Here we have another labia minora. So here we have two openings. The first opening is the opening of urethra. So it's a urethral opening. So from here the urine passes. From here the urine passes. This opening is known as vagina, vaginal opening. This is the vaginal opening, and this is partly covered by a vascular tissue known as hymen. It is partly covered by a vascular tissue known as hymen. Okay, so hymen is a tissue, vascular tissue which contains obviously blood vessels, and it is partly covering the vaginal opening. So this hymen gets break down during sexual intercourse. So if a female does not have hymen, doesn't mean she has undergone sexual intercourse. This hymen can also be broken down during doing power yoga, cycling, horse riding, you know, or sudden jolt, you just fall down and it got, you know, broken down. Or it can also be broken down by applying of tampon. What is a tampon? For many of you, tampon might be a very new word. Tampon, what is a tampon? Like in India, female mostly uses sanitary pads during their menstruation to hold the menstrual fluid, right? But in some countries, or in fact in India also, but it's very few in India, females use a cylindrical knob-like structure which has a highly absorptive cotton-like structure which is inserted inside the vagina. So that tampon is to, you know, hold all the menstrual fluid, but the only difference is it is inserted inside the vagina, right? So that's why most of the females in India, they don't use it, and during application of tampon this hymen can be broken down. Okay, so that's quite normal, fine. So another thing to note here is that at the upper junction of labia minora is this orange lips, right? At the upper junction of labia minora, a small tiny finger like structure is present known as clitoris. What is it? Clitoris. It is supposed to be homologous to male penis. Clitoris. It is supposed to be homologous to male penis, and where it is present? At the upper junction of labia minora. So at the junction of labia minora we have clitoris, which is supposed to be homologous to the male penis. Why? Male penis during sexual arousal undergoes erection. So also in female, when she is under sexual arousal, this clitoris gets erect. So that's why we say that it's homologous to male penis. Homologous means they're similar in origin and structure, right? So for example, that was made up of erectile tissue, the penis. It is also made up of erectile tissue. That's why it got erect, right? So we just suppose that clitoris is homologous to male penis, as it contains erectile tissues. Erectile tissues and gets erect during sexual intercourse. And gets erect during sexual intercourse. Fine. Now, down here is present another opening, and the name of this opening is known as anus, and through anus the digestive waste comes out, and the area between this vulva and anus, this area between vulva and anus is known as perineum. What it is known as? Perineum. Okay, so this is how the female body looks like from here, and this is the external genitalia of the female, right? Now apart from this, in the external genitalia certain glands are present. Let's talk about those glands. Okay, so that's about external genitalia, which contains these lips, labia minora, labia majora. Labia minora is present inner to labia majora, and labia minora is the one which is around or surrounding the openings, the urethral opening and the vaginal opening. Vaginal opening is partly covered by hymen, and hymen is a vascular tissue, and this vascular tissue can be broken down by various things, okay, or various conditions. Labia majora is the one that is fleshy fold of skin which have fat, hair, and labia minora does not have any hair. Mons pubis is a fatty layer which is basically has a function of protection of inner organs, and it contains hair as well. Whereas at the upper junction of labia minora, clitoris is present, which is supposed to be homologous to male penis because it contains erectile tissue and undergoes erection during sexual intercourse. Let's talk about the glands now. The glands in the external genitalia. Glands in vulva. So these are the glands in vulva, right? So now what are these glands? These glands are normally known as vestibular glands because they are present in vestibular region. There are two types of vestibular gland. One is a greater vestibular, also known as Bartholin glands. Bulbourethral gland is present in males. Bartholin gland is present in females. Another gland is a lesser vestibular or paraurethral. The function of both the gland is same. Both secrete alkaline mucus. So if some gland is secreting mucus, just like of bulbourethral gland, its function will be lubrication. So what will be its role? It will help in lubrication. Same goes for your Bartholin gland. It also secretes mucus. So its function is also in lubrication. Okay, now let's talk about where are they exactly present. This one is present around vagina. For example, this is vaginal opening. So you can find these two glands present right here. So they are present around vaginal orifice. Orifice means opening. Okay, so this is vaginal opening, and sometimes we also use the word orifice or orifice. Okay, so these are the glands present. These are the two glands. Which gland? This one. Whereas paraurethral, because the word urethra has used. So it is, for example, this is urethra, it is going inside the vestibule, this region is vestibule. Okay, this is vestibule. Here the opening is the urethral opening. So this will be present on the inner walls, of urethra. This will be present in the inner walls of urethra. So imagine this is urethra, that's urethral opening. So the gland will be present in the inner walls or around the urethra, right here. Okay, so these are the glands. So the function is same, they will secrete mucus for lubrication. Alright, so that about your vulva. Let's read the NCERT. The female external genitalia includes mons pubis, labia majora, labia minora, hymen and clitoris. Mons pubis is a cushion, it's a cushion of fatty tissue covered by skin and pubic hair. The labia majora, fleshy fold of tissue which extend down from mons pubis and surround the vaginal opening. The labia minora, paired folds of tissue under the labia majora. The opening of the vagina is often covered partly by a membrane called hymen. So as I have told you, the vaginal opening is partly covered by hymen, partly means half. Clitoris is a tiny finger-like structure. So it is a small finger-like structure which lies at the which junction? Upper junction of which lip? Minora. Above the which opening? Urethral opening. The hymen is often torn during the first coitus or the intercourse. So as I have told you, it can be broken down by sexual intercourse, but it is not for sure. It does not tell a female is virgin or not, because maybe the female's hymen has broken down because she has used vaginal tampon, active participation in horseback riding, cycling and something. In some women, the hymen persists even after coitus. So how can you just tell it whether she has done intercourse or not? In some female, it can also be formed again after intercourse, right? For example, she has done it once and she has not done it afterward for many times. So it can again be formed, okay? In fact, the presence or absence of hymen is not a reliable indicator of virginity or sexual experience. So in India, it was a thing, few years back that this was an indicator of virginity. But nowadays both men and women both are educated. So for them it's not a big deal, right? So they know that this can be broken down by any means, okay. So this is about the external genitalia. Let's talk about mammary glands. So mammary glands, they are definitely a gland. They are present inside a structure known as breast, and female have one pair of breast or mammary glands. So female have one pair of functional mammary glands. One pair of functional mammary glands are present in female. In males, they are reduced, they are not at all completely formed. In an adult female, they are not functional but they are developed. In males, they are underdeveloped. In males, they are reduced. Reduced means they are not at all formed to become a mammary gland. In adult non-pregnant female, it's developed but non-functional. What about the female who is not adult? The female who is young female, like she has not attained puberty or so. In her, the mammary glands are not developed at all, they are underdeveloped, okay. So in female who is not pregnant but young, around in 20s, 30s, 40s, she has a developed but non-functional mammary glands. In a pregnant female, or the female who has just given birth, they are developed as well as functional. In men, it is highly reduced, vestigial, and in young female, it is underdeveloped because we need hormones to develop it, right? So they are very important. Why are they important? Because they contain certain glandular structure which will secrete milk. So what is the function of mammary gland? The function is secretion of milk. It's an exclusive feature of mammals. This is an exclusive feature of mammals. You can see this diagram, but you will not understand it because it's a kind of a complex diagram. So don't worry, I will make first a simpler diagram and then I'll explain you this one. Ma'am, then why 2 diagrams? Because whenever if the question will ask, they will pick up the diagram from NCERT, and so for that you definitely should know what it's all about, right? Okay, so without wasting any time, let's draw this diagram. So the mammary glands are present in thoracic region of female. Okay. In females we say breast, in male we say chest. So it is supported by certain muscles. It is supported by certain muscles. So these muscles are pectoralis muscles. Which muscles are these? Pectoralis. You can see in this diagram, here ribs are present. So these are ribs. And here your muscles are present. So muscles are going to support them because they are heavy. So we need some support, and that support is given by muscles. So here we have pectoralis muscles, and then we have ribs here. So these are the cut sections, so that's the ribs. Okay. So let me just write this down for you. So these are ribs and these are muscles. Which muscles? Pectoralis muscle. And the function of this muscle is to provide support. Let's move inside. The size of mammary gland depends upon the age of a female and the fat content in the female. If she is like completely adult, she will be having a heavier breast as comparison to the female who is into 10, 11 or 12 or 13 years of age. Okay. Second thing, if she is fattier, she will be having a fattier breast. So the content of fat is one such thing that decides the shape of the breast and the size of the breast. Okay. So here you will find a lot of fat tissue. Okay. So this is fat. So the function of fat is to provide like cushion so that shock absorption can be given to the inner portion of the breast. So fat is also important here. Apart from this, inside of the mammary gland is divided into 15 to 20 mammary lobes. How many? 15 to 20 mammary lobes are present. So these round structures, what are these? These are mammary lobes. How many total mammary lobes are there in a single breast? 15 to 20 in number. Now, inside of these mammary lobes are present small grape-like structure known as alveoli, and these alveoli are actually the glandular structure. What are these? The glandular structure. Okay. So what are these guys? These are alveoli, and alveoli are the glandular structure. Glandular means they are the gland that will secrete milk. So these will secrete milk. Now, from each alveoli comes out mammary tubules. What does come out? Mammary tubules. So if you can see this diagram, let me tell you along with that. So these are mammary lobes. Can you see that? These are mammary lobes. So inside mammary lobes, these small grape-like structure, what are these? Alveoli. Now from alveoli emerges out these tubes. Okay, let me use another color. Emerges out these tube. These are known as tubules, mammary tubules. Let me show you here. Okay, so from each alveoli, like this is one alveoli, from each alveoli arise mammary tubules like this. From each alveoli arise mammary tubules. These are nothing, these are ducts. Because mammary glands are exocrine glands, they will pour their secretion out through ducts. So ducts are the pipe-like structure that will throw milk to the outside. So the duct starts from here. Each alveoli give rise to mammary tubules. Now mammary tubules from all the alveoli, they form a single duct. They will form a single duct known as mammary duct. They will form a single duct known as mammary duct. So this is mammary duct. Now mammary duct from different lobes or alveoli, they will open together into a swollen structure. This was mammary tubules. Mammary tubules, they arise from each alveoli. All mammary tubules together they form mammary duct. Mammary duct. This mammary duct will open into this swollen structure known as ampulla. Now this ampulla will open into a duct known as lactiferous duct. So this opens into lactiferous duct. Lacto word is used for milk, lactose sugar, right? So milk sugar. So this is lactiferous duct. So this will open to the outside through nipple. So that's the route of your milk. Let me tell you one more time. From alveoli the milk is produced. Now it has to come out. It will come out through mammary tubules. These mammary tubules will open into a number of mammary tubules. They will join and they will open into mammary duct. And mammary duct will open into ampulla. An ampulla is a swollen structure that stores milk. This will temporarily stores milk, and this will open into lactiferous duct. And this lactiferous duct will open into outside through nipples. And you must have seen around nipples a brown color dark area is present. So if you will see through front, the nipples are rounder, having a round darker area, and that darker area around the nipples is known as areola. What do you call it as? Areola. Let me show you the diagram of NCERT now. First of all, we have lobes. Lobes have alveoli. Alveoli are opening. They are opening, right? So in the diagram of NCERT, they have not shown you the mammary tubules because they are present, they are very little, and they are inside of the alveoli. They have just directly shown us these ducts known as mammary ducts. So whatever is formed here in the NCERT, these are mammary ducts. So all the mammary ducts, they are uniting and forming and opening into this swollen structure known as ampulla. An ampulla is opening into this duct known as lactiferous duct, which open to the outside through nipples. So in the diagram of NCERT, they have not mentioned the tubules, but in the text they have mentioned it. So let's see what they have mentioned in the text. A functional mammary gland is characteristic of all female mammals. The mammary glands are paired structure. Okay, now the first line you will say, ma'am, you have said functional mammary glands are present in adult pregnant female, but they are saying they are the feature of all the females. These are the features of all the female. If a female is not pregnant, but she still have a feature, when she will get pregnant, she will produce milk. Okay. The mammary gland are paired structure. They are one pair known as breast that contain glandular tissue and variable amount of fat. Variable amount of fat means that differ from person to person. The glandular tissue of each breast is divided into 15 to 20 lobe containing cluster of cells called as alveoli. The cells of alveoli secrete milk which is stored into the cavities or lumens of the alveoli. So the milk first of all is stored inside alveoli and it is also stored in the ampulla. Most of the students get confused that where is milk stored. So the milk is stored at two places. One, milk is stored in the alveoli, lumens or the cavity of alveoli, like here. Okay, so this is milk. Milk stored in cavities of alveoli. Okay. Also, the milk can also be temporarily stored in the ampulla region. Okay. Now, I think all doubt is clear. The alveoli open into mammary tubules. As I have told you, alveoli will open into mammary tubule. Tubule of each lobe join to form mammary duct. Several mammary duct join to form a wider mammary ampulla. So we have seen several mammary ducts, they join to form ampulla. Now, which is connected to a lactiferous duct through which milk is sucked out. Okay, so that's about the structure of a mammary gland. Now let's talk about the function of mammary gland. What's the function of mammary gland? The function of mammary gland is production of milk. You call it as lactation. So you must have heard the word lactation. Yes? you often have heard this word, the female is lactating. That means the female is producing milk and feeding the baby. This is what lactation is. So lactation is always followed by pregnancy. So after pregnancy, after childbirth, so these are set of events. First of all, the pregnancy takes place. The mother is pregnant, forming a baby, and then childbirth takes place. The mother gives birth to child, and then lactation comes. Okay, where she feeds the baby for around 6 months to in some cases 2 years. Okay, so how does this lactation takes place? So this is under the control of hormones. It is under the control of hormones. Now the hormones that plays a very important role in the growth of mammary glands and production of milk. So we'll start with the simplest things. Estrogen, progesterone, prolactin and oxytocin. So when a female undergoes puberty, you must have seen or observed also, when a female undergoes puberty, the size of the breast increases, and that is due to estrogen hormone. So estrogen is the hormone that develops ducts of mammary gland. So when the female undergoes puberty, her breasts are not that much developed to form a milk, because alveoli is not developed, only ducts are developing. As a result, the size increases. If the progesterone is higher for longer duration, and progesterone is higher for longer duration in pregnancy, as I've also told you in cervical mucus, cervical plug. Progesterone is the main pregnancy hormone, right? We'll be talking about much detail about hormones in later phases, but here I'm telling you some. When a female is pregnant, the only hormone that is responsible for carrying out pregnancy for longer duration is progesterone. If she does not have a progesterone, the pregnancy cannot undergo, right? So this hormone during pregnancy, it is also leading to pregnancy, but it is also developing breast of female. So when a female is pregnant, her breasts are also developing. So this one will develops alveoli, because the female is pregnant, and this is how it is, right? If she is pregnant, she has to feed the baby. So for feeding the baby, we need to produce milk, and milk is produced by alveoli. So it's time to develop alveoli for female. That's why the size of the breast increases more. Now, after the child is born, the female's anterior pituitary gland, which pituitary? Anterior pituitary gland will secrete prolactin hormone, which will help in the formation of milk. So prolactin comes from anterior pituitary. I hope you all know what is anterior pituitary gland. It's in the brain. This gland helps in this gland secretes the hormone prolactin, which helps in formation of milk. So if someone asks you which is the hormone which helps in formation of or production or synthesis or secretion of milk, you will say prolactin. If someone say which hormone helps in release or let down of milk, then that is oxytocin, and it comes from posterior pituitary. This hormone is produced by hypothalamus but stored in posterior pituitary. So this one helps in release or let down of milk. That means to make it come out. How? Let's see. Let me draw the diagram of breast again. So you imagine these are the breast, okay, that's mammary lobes, and these are alveoli. So alveoli are under the influence of hormone prolactin. So when the prolactin will come, imagine this is prolactin. When prolactin will come, there will be the synthesis of milk. Milk will be formed and stored in the ampulla. In the cavities. Now, milk has to come out, and milk will come out through mammary tubules. Mammary tubules, they unite to form mammary duct, which will open into ampulla, ampulla open into lactiferous duct, right? So as I've told you, milk is present inside these ducts and ampulla. So now we need to or we want that milk should come out from this ampulla or these cavities or any places it is present. So for that we need, you know, some kind of suction, right? One suction is through the nipples of the mother by the baby. Okay, that's a kind of a stimulus that will secrete more oxytocin. When baby sucks the nipple of the mother, this will stimulate the mother's pituitary gland, and mother's pituitary gland will secrete oxytocin, right? Another thing, there are certain muscles present here. These muscles will also receive the hormone oxytocin. Imagine they receive the hormone oxytocin. This is oxytocin. Oxytocin's function is to do muscle contraction. And what are these? These are muscles. So when oxytocin will bind these muscle will undergo contraction and milk will let down. So the function of oxytocin is they will contract the muscle and help in milk let down. Okay, so how does the lactation start? First of all, when the baby is born, female start producing a lot of oxytocin hormone and prolactin hormone. When she is delivering the baby, oxytocin is already high at that time. Okay, let me tell you what is oxytocin. It is a hormone that comes out from pituitary gland. If you don't know this hormone, go back, read chemical control and coordination of 11th class. Okay, so when the baby sucks the nipples, this will stimulate pituitary gland. Now pituitary gland will release oxytocin. It will release oxytocin, and oxytocin will help in milk let down. How? By contraction of muscles. So this is how the milk is formed and it is released down. Prolactin is always higher after pregnancy, right? But oxytocin is usually stimulated by the suckling action of nipples by the baby. This is how the milk is produced and it comes out. Alright guys, so let's solve some question. Read the following statements and find the incorrect statement. The labia majora are pair folds of tissue under the labia minora. Breast contain 15 to 20 mammary lobes. Clitoris is present at the junction of labia minora. Mons pubis contains fat. So we'll start from the D. It's true, mons pubis contains fat. Clitoris is present at the junction of labia minora. Breast contain 15 to 20 mammary lobes. But this is wrong. Minora are fold of skin which are present under the majora. So see, you have to read lines very carefully. Okay, so answer is A. It is incorrect. Next, choose the hormone that helps in milk formation. Oxytocin, prolactin, estrogen, testosterone. It is a male hormone, so nothing to do here. Oxytocin helps in let down, estrogen helps in duct development, prolactin helps in milk formation, synthesis or production, and secretion. Okay, all words are same. Next, hymen can be broken down by cycling, sexual intercourse, horseback riding, all of the above. Now you all know it can be broken down by any of these things, so all of the above. Next, that's it. So that's about the mammary glands, milk letdown and everything, and lactation. If you feel difficulty in hormones, don't worry. Otherwise, I suppose that you all have read chemical control and coordination of 11th class. If not, you can do one more thing to make it more clear. Just go and watch my lecture of chemical control and coordination under Victory batch. It's in the same channel, it's free of cost. Okay. If you will read that chapter first carefully and revise it, it will be very easy for you to understand all the hormones in this chapter. Otherwise, I'll be taking all in detail. I have explained lactation here because lactation will also be, I'll be teaching you again in the last part of the chapter, where I'll be also telling you the composition of milk. So don't worry, I have just told you the introduction of lactation. The more detail of it will be doing it after the chapter, because most of the hormones are not like so much familiar, and that will make sense only when we will be doing the parturition and all. So don't worry, lactation will be, I'll be teaching you in more detail in the later sections also, okay. So I'll be taking next class, and till then just prepare whatever we have done, and in the next class we'll be studying about a very important topic, oogenesis, and till then just keep working hard and keep studying. Bye bye.